Okay, so we're going to take a commercial break, and once we come back, as you have is already quickly joining in. So wherever you are, stay tuned and don't you go away. Make that move now. This festive season to your new home address at THS House Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% price discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwasi, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the New Hazel Court at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimota Mall. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS House and Estates. This festive season to new address at THS House and Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% price discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwasi, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the New Hazel Court at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimota Mall. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. THS Housing Estates. View it, love it. Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now exactly to 11. Yes, 11. That is 11 minutes after 11. You don't see me, don't worry. You'll see me pretty soon. Yes. You're going to be seeing me in the next few moments whilst I get into live for a key. To be all ready for you as well. But it is the Friday edition of the morning show today, the 20th day of January. Small to the end of the month. I was going to do it to the end of the year. Somebody say, yeah, good luck to you. But how many days more to the end of the month? Well, some 11 days. But hey, wherever and whatever you are doing, you rest assured of one thing. That Starr Radio UK is here. Make sure that we deliver all our promises, making sure we bring you the news that you need to know wherever you might be. But let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my colleague and Mr. Olayomi, the White Lion. Yomi, good morning.
A very good morning to you, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear back in the studio.
Yes, loud and clear. How are you doing?
Well, it is, the beautiful Friday. I'm doing very well. Apart from this, weather, I don't know whether you are used to it, but after 2 decades, as much as you just have to wake up in the morning to do the school runs, and I could see everybody feeling very cold. But I had something you said before coming on. As long as there is life, there is hope. So which is the most beautiful part of the world, because when we're still alive, humanity will continue, and that is why we're still here this morning, regardless of the weather outside, on Starr Radio UK, giving you everything you need to know. And I'm doing very well. Apology for coming in a bit late again this morning. It's just some of those, inquiries to make sure that we have the news ready to hit the road this morning, the Friday edition, the 20th day of January 2023, 13 minutes past. Quite a lot to discuss. You actually said 20-something days. I believe it's still less than that. I mean, it's still more than that. So we're looking at from the INEC chairman speaking in London on Tuesday at 37 days. So we are probably still looking at about almost 30-something days before the 2023 general election.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
if
I said 20.
yeah, you said 27.
More than that.
Yeah, it's still more than that. So, but that is subject to if it's still going to go ahead. With so much update this morning, but let me slightly come back again to you in the studio. Once again, some of our listeners have joined us on our sister broadcast, and I say good morning to them. Happy birthday to one of our colleagues in Germany, Modupe Ola, and I say happy birthday to her. And once again, a very good morning to everyone that have joined us from different part of the globe this morning. It is the Friday edition of the morning show. Once again, it is happy birthday to Modupe. She's actually based in Germany, where she also does a very great work when it comes to humanity. And from Starr in the UK, happy birthday to her. I come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Oh, wonderful. Happy birthday to you. May God grant you all your heart desires. This year, may you see the greatness of God in your life, and may you achieve it all. Amen. Okay, Praise Abimbola Osuna says, good morning to you all. Thank God it's Friday. Yes, it's Friday. And we are here once again to make sure that you know everything that is going on. And let me say thank you to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. He's making sure that I'm warm in the studio. So he brings me hot bottle of rum every time to make sure that I'm not freezing. Because of the system that we have here, you cannot take just 1 year. So it needs to be cool. Francis, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. All right, then, listen to Starr Radio. You get Mr. Magic again and not planning studios. I'm Archie here in the South Studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Now, interestingly, let us come straight to because you're asking the question whether the election is going to go or not. Now, the question is, if during the campaigns in the South, APC and PDP rallies have experienced some explosions there, are we sure that this election is going to take place at all?
Well, you're quite right. And where did we have this explosion? I was actually just after we left, yesterday, and I was doing, the normal broadcasting from the sister broadcast, and the breaking news was actually coming through. Yes, we've had an explosion. The All Progressive Congress rally in Rivers State yesterday was disrupted following a two explosion which rocked the roomy Wuji venue in the Mile 1 axis of Port Harcourt. A similar event held by the People's Democratic Party in Edo State ended in disarray after unknown gunmen fired shot at the campaign ground. So two different locations, and there was a lot of disruption. One was the unknown gunmen, which has been terrorizing the southeast and finger pointing again to some of the politicians being the unknown gunmen disrupting the activities, and it has always been linked to the IPOB, but we can categorically say the unknown gunmen has got nothing to do with the IPOB agitation for self-determination. A similar event was also ended in Edo State, but in Port Harcourt it was an explosion. The campaign rally was going on peacefully in the Ward 7 of Edo local government area when the sound of gunshot by suspected political thugs suddenly filled the air, forcing the party faithful to scam in for their life. The police, however, launched investigation into the two incidents, which several persons were injured. We are not sure whether anybody got killed in those two events, but according to the Rivers State, remember that Rivers State is quite a tense, state at the moment, and the reason for that is the governor of Rivers State is one of the G5 governors that still disagree, with Wike as we speak. Atiku was in Oyo State yesterday. I did not see, again, one of the G5 governor known as Seyi Makinde being present at that particular, event. What did the G5 governors want? They wanted, Atiku, to bring down, the chairman, but, Atiku refused to do so. And that literally means that, G5 governors, and those G5 governors, we have them from the South region, and we also have them from the Southwest. And Seyi Makinde is from Oyo State. Governor Wike is from Rivers State. Governor Otom that disagree, with President Muhammadu Buhari. I did an interview with him, last year, and is so bitter that the Fulani activities operating in Nigeria presently is something that the president have actually endorsed. So he's also one of the G5 governors. We also have Ahiu, that is also not, part of those, supporting Atiku presently. So the question then is, how is this all going to play out in less than 33 days or thereabout before the 2023 general election? But once again, it is Starr in the UK, and I'll come back again to you now in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria, and we can tell you emphatically that we've got about 36 days more for that election to take place, for the election to take place on the 25th of February. Whether it's going to take place or not, that we're not very, very sure of. But I can today, guys, good afternoon, Starr Radio UK, and everyone watching all over the world. Yes, good afternoon to you, and we are so grateful to you. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones, and invite them to like our pages as well. But Yomi, still in before we go to some of the other ones that you put across, there's one. Okay, that's in Nuku. They said that let me bring that detail. Because it's all pertaining to the campaign that is going on. Huge loss as a Nuku LG PDP chairman slapped and died during campaign. And Nigeria's main opposition party has been greeted with shocking news as party's local government chairman in Enugu is reported dead. Now, what is happening with them, the PDP?
Well, I mean, it's not the first time that, such is happening. APC were campaigning, if I believe, in Plateau State, Jos, when, one of their, member that came all the way from Lagos, and also, one of the speaker in Lagos State died and slumped. I mean, during the campaign, it's quite tense. There's a lot of mistakes that happened during those campaigns. There's a lot of issues that also remember that a lot of them are going through different health, situation that we probably would not know on the line. And, with the pressure ongoing right now, such could happen. Yes, I do pick up the news of the chairman that died in Enugu State. The reason of death is not yet confirmed. But what we can say is that Mr. SKB Obuago is the acting chairman of the party in Udi local government area of the state. Obudu was said to have collapsed during the town hall meeting of Enugu Gobitarian, Barrister Peter Umba at, Uzugu local government area. Some hinted that towards the end of the rally, the chairman said to be an asthmatic patient.
So it could be that maybe he had an asthma attack. Wow. Yeah. May you so rest in perfect peace. But we know that these are troubling times for the political parties. But let's move on to some of the stories that we are looking at. Now, rising petrol prices hit 300 naira per liter. Now, people are listening to us from here, and they will think that what are you talking about 300 naira? How does it? What is the equivalent in pounds?
Well, if you look at 300 naira, so remember that 1 pound is 920 naira. So you probably get 300 naira in a 1 pound of you today. So, so if we break it down, you're probably less than, 50p. I'm not even sure it's up to 50p. So probably about 40, 35p, somewhere around that line.
So, I mean, the price is hiking. I mean, eventually, they'll be seeing it at a very, very high price. But here, we are buying a liter of petrol, and these are more than 1 pound, maybe 60 something.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite expensive here. You're quite right. And the reason why it's expensive here is because, the UK do not have, the large supply of the crude oil. I mean, yes, we do know that Scotland has a little bit, but not up to what Nigeria have. And that literally means that, UK have to scramble around to see where they can get, more supply, for some of us that are driving. I mean, I stopped driving for the last 2 years, but it's still expensive when you go in the public transport because, the prices have actually gone up. And that is why there's a lot of strike going on as well. Remember that yesterday we were actually discussing the issue of this, petrol, crisis, especially we did focus on Lagos, but it's not just in Lagos. But according to the scarcity of the petrol, also known as the premium motor spirit, yesterday the government was assuring that about 16 cargoes arrived. Remember, we talked about that, bringing in the petrol, bringing in the sugar, the milk, and whatever, that Nigeria is not producing. But if we now go away from Lagos, Abuja is also facing more scarcity. Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt shouldn't even be facing any issue. Again, refinery is not working. Calabar, Warri, Nasarawa, Minna, among other places. And the oil marketer stated that the scarcity became worse due to the fact that the dealers could hardly even access the product from the only two depots that were dispensing the commodity in Lagos. Imagine 206 million population, yet we only have two depots where you have to get your dispense. And when you get that, then yesterday my wife late in the night I thought maybe there was something going on. She actually was telling me that to come and watch something on Instagram. People were running to get fuel that was coming out of a tanker that must have burst without any concern of their safety. Everybody was just scooping, and right there and there, you thought, again, it's not the first time we are saying such, but ignorance is a disease. They say poverty is a big major problem in Nigeria, as Nigeria remains the capital poverty of the world. This is why some of those that are campaigning for the right to self-determination are saying, is it right to continue with a country where two dispense is coming only from Lagos, when we have the southeast, where they could have opened up the waterways and allow docking system to allow as well, but again, it does not happen as well. But all this pressure is bringing more to the table, and today, if you have about 250 to 300 naira, you should be able to buy a liter, but that is quite a lot of money for an average Nigerian today. A very good morning. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, updates from Nigeria, 11:25 the time. So now you can again and not back to the Archie here in the South Studio. Now let's come to some of the security issues in Nigeria still. The United Kingdom and Australia have asked their citizens to avoid traveling to Nigeria in the latest security advisory issued on Thursday. I mean, another security warning there, and then we have the different Americans who say that no, don't mind them, don't listen to them at all. Everything is all right. What exactly is happening there?
Well, I have not seen or heard, Lai Mohammed, who is the information minister, to come out and tell us, if what the information now coming out. Yes, you're quite right. 2023, we have said it before. I am not surprised. More international, citizens, will be advising their citizens either to try and stay away from Nigeria if they can, and if they are not able to, probably since they're not going to be voting, just stay indoor as much as possible and probably get your passport ready in case there might be any kind of evacuation. The United Kingdom that colonized Nigeria and amalgamated Nigeria, and this is why the Yorubas, the Biafra, are saying this amalgamation has actually failed. It's not bringing any unity. But the UK still believes that there is a unity in Nigeria. It's just that there's a bad leadership. Now also the European Union, Australia have issued security alert for the 2023 general election. The United Kingdom and Australia have now asked their citizens to avoid traveling to Nigeria in the latest security advisory that was issued yesterday. Also, the European Union warned that insecurity might, remember, we have been saying whether election will hold or not. Now the European Union is now giving a strong warning that the insecurity presently in Nigeria, the ISIS, the Boko Haram, the unknown gunmen, the uncertainty might prevent elections from holding in part of the country, adding that security climate was very, very hostile. Last year, October, the United States of America actually evacuated their citizens because of security threat in Abuja. Canada, Germany, Bulgaria issued terror alert, warning their citizens in Nigeria to avoid shopping mall, religious center, hotels, which they said could be targeted by terrorists. But the federal government dismissed this advisory. We are waiting to see what the federal government will be saying regarding this new security advisory that is coming out from the UK, the EU, and Australia.
Well, listeners, insecurity. But, I know that government is going to come back and defend everything and say that everything is fine. But we know that things are not all right. And what do you think? Whatever you want to share with us, what is going on, feel free to do so. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station. And before we go to some of the other stories that Yomi had. Now, Yomi, when it comes to the elections so far, the candidate, what do Tinubu, what do you call the other one?
Atiku, Peter Obi.
Yes. Now, the three of them, now, who do you think at the moment is making headway? Because it looks like some people are thinking that Adobe can make a big, a massive, I mean, surprise. I mean, it can launch a very massive surprise. But what do you think?
You're quite right. The article are saying that Peter Obi does not have, the capacity, to remember that you need a lot of, foot soldiers, to be able to win an election. That means every part of your polling unit must be manned by your own team on the ground in each of the states. And we have 774 local government, and each of these local government, you must have a representative. PDP has been in this game for 16 years. They were part of the corrupt system that made Nigeria what it is today, while they were in power from 1999 when we came back into democracy, until people thought they were tired of the PDP, and they brought in a change in 2015, which is President Muhammadu Buhari and the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and all their team. The first 6 months, the president refused to appoint any minister, and we thought, that is a red line there. Something is not right. And later on he says, it's not for anybody, it's for everybody. Down the line now, it is now little countdown before this party that everybody thought maybe the change was not enough. In 2019, they actually brought in Next Level. They have the capacity. They've been in the game as well. Not just for 8 years, they've been contesting a long line with the APC, even though they were running on a different political party, until they thought the only way to win the PDP was to merge. So the merger brought in what we call the APC from the AD, the CPC, and the rest of the team. And some of them fall out. People like Governor Otom was part of them until he disagreed that the president was actually part of those that were bringing in the terrorists into the country, supporting the Fulani agenda and the Islamization of Nigeria. Does the Labour Party also has the capacity? Remember, the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has been part of the PDP until he traveled to UK, and we don't know what happened at number 10 Downing Street. He came out and he decided, he's not going to be part of PDP anymore. He's going to be Labour Party. And he has now gained the momentum. Remember that when Obama was coming in, the kind of momentum that were out there in America, and it seems now those kind of momentums on the ground. But does the Labour Party has everything it takes to win this election in terms of people manning their polling unit? All these are questions that will be reviewed in the next 30-something days, but subject to, if without an election, if there's an election, I believe that Peter Obi will win, straight out. But since we have been saying that an election in Nigeria is not going to work, since there has now been division of disunity, the agitation is not yet over. And as you can see now, the European Union, the Americans have not issued any security advisory yet, but we will be monitoring that. Maybe over the weekend, they might pick up on it, and on Monday, I'll be here to discuss that. But Peter Obi, from what I've been looking at, has the gain ahead, because it seems now that the Nigerians are tired of, people have been saying that even the APC have the audacity to campaign when there's no fuel, there's no electricity, people are hungry, there's no food in the land, and yet Atiku was stoned. I saw the video while he was campaigning somewhere in Abeokuta, and there was a lot of movement on this convoy. Remember, they moved with a lot of security, but people were actually stoning that vehicle. So are we going to see more stoning of the politicians? We will see as the campaign still continue before the election itself.
But let me ask you a hypothetical question. So Peter Obi win the election. Is it going to be like the MP Abiola election? Where like when then they say, no more, no, allow. Is that what?
Well, Buhari, I believe, is upset with some of the utterances of Tinubu. Is just probably managing it. We know that. Remember that Tinubu actually disgraced, the president in Ogun State. Say, Buhari tried it the first time in Lule, which means he was falling down. He tried it the second time, he was falling down. The third time, until he came and hold him together, and Buhari won it, and that is what led to Imilokan. And I can tell that Buhari is saying, whoever wins. So that means that Buhari has given the green light that he has completed his term, and the election will be peaceful, will be without any interruption. Remember that this is not the military dictator then, but nothing can still be riding away But should Peter Obi win, what will be the changes is a question. If it will be the same as we have it when MK Abiola won, and the rest is history. He was a president that never be. And even the son is still saying that he's going to make sure that whoever wants to break Nigeria, when he becomes the president, I'm not sure he's going to get there anyway, but we do know these are proxies that are used by either APC or PDP just to, destabilize a part of, the campaign. But I'm not seeing Kola Abiola, winning anything in his local government. But he has actually said when he becomes the president, he will deal with those that wants to bring Nigeria down, even though it was Nigeria that actually killed his father.
Well, listeners, interesting stories there from Starr Radio. Okay, 11:34 the time. It's all like you're again and offline studios. I'm actually here in the South Studio, and Yomi is going to bring us the rest of the stories. Go back to you, Yomi.
Yeah, well, let's start with a very a situation that happened somewhere again in Nigeria. Quite a lot of death happened. Innocent people are killed in Nigeria for unknown reason. I mean, you tend to ask yourself all the time, why the killings of the youth? And I can confirm that there was a death that happened to one Nigerian somewhere again in Lagos State, precisely in Ojuelegba, when he was stopped by the police for riding his tricycle known as Keke Napel. Eventually, we can't show you the picture, but probably maybe on Monday I will have the picture ready. But what we do know from the information, police beat a tricycle rider to death for refusing to give bribe in Lagos State. And also, as we speak right now, the family are crying out because the body has been removed into the mortuary, and the family alleged that the police officer are now trying to label the disease as a drug dealer. Again, these are part of the atrocity that occurred. I mean, let's remind ourselves that this young boy was not participating in any kind of protest or rally in Lagos, as we saw in Ojota when the police actually killed, innocent Yorubas during the rally. Let's take it back to December 25th when a woman with a twins, 7 months, was killed in Ajah by the Lagos State Police as well. The police officer is actually denying that as the court case continued. Let's remind ourselves as well that Bamishi was killed in Lagos State. Jumoke Oyeleke was killed in 2021. The question is, how many more Nigerians has to be killed before the system literally look into the Lagos State, the other states that continue to commit crime? I was literally, I think about 2 weeks ago, just after almost 2 years, in Agodi prison, I've just released some of the protesters during the EndSARS. And all these are questions that continue in Nigeria on a daily basis. So we're again asking the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to look into this matter as quickly as possible as the family continue to cry for help. This is Starr Radio UK. Let's go straight now to more other headline coming out of Nigeria this morning. NCDC issues alert over diphtheria outbreak in Lagos, Kano. Remember that China is going through a lot in terms of the COVID, but symptoms of, diphtheria include fever, runny nose, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and a neck swelling, according to the agency. So if you're in Nigeria, please let us continue to take these, public alert very, very seriously. This is actually coming from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention that is now alerting the public to fresh cases of some of these issues, especially in Lagos State. Remember, Lagos State has about 20 million population, Kano, Osun, and Oyo State. So if you're living in any of those states, make sure that your health is something that you do not joke with. Washing your hands daily is something that I know is, it could be something that a lot of people back home do not think of. But people like us, when you go out, you come back home, the first thing is, you clean that hand because of the particles of germs as well. EU business collaborate on growing Nigerians' human capacity. Both the European Union and the Eurocharm Nigeria are playing leading roles in the Nigerian Jubilee Fellowship Program. As we do know, quite a lot of different events happens around Nigeria. But as election is coming, I'm not sure, as EU is giving warning, some of these events might probably put on hold. 21 Uni Ilorin lecturers on the top scientist list, again telling you how important the southwest part of Nigeria is. But the question is, the support is not there in terms of the educational system among 500 authors. It explained that leading the pack of these outstanding University of Ilorin academic giant is Adewale Adeniyi, the 2021 University of Ilorin Researcher of the Year. The University of Ilorin has disclosed that 11 of its academic staff have been listed among the top 500 authors across Nigeria in the last 3 years. According to the University Weekly Bulletin, in addition, report also identified 10 foremost University Ilorin scientists whose research findings have continuously dominated the academia. Southwest is full of education, but as we do know, 8-month strike, a lot of people continue to stay at home until it was pulled off as well. Medical brains leaving Nigeria. We have been saying that a lot. The headline says medical brains leaving Nigeria are not country's best, according to the association. The Pediatric Association of Nigeria on Wednesday dismissed widespread belief that the best brains among the healthcare profession had left Nigeria to seek greener pasture abroad. The president, Dr. Olufemi Ogunride, made a dismissal in Akure in the southwest as a news conference at the 54th annual general meeting and scientific conference of the association. I want to salute the health workers that are staying behind in the midst of what is not giving them joy, but they're still staying behind, offering services. I want to say that it is not the best brains that are leaving, but we do know some are leaving and some are staying behind. Let me take you straight to the social media, then I'm going to come back, we'll review everything in one go. But it is the Friday edition. It is Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, the 20th of January 2023. And as we do know, quite a lot is trending in Nigeria this morning. Ojota is trending again. We do know Ojota was trending, some few weeks ago when the Yoruba were present there. Not sure why it's trending because I'm not aware that, we are any out in Ojota this morning, but it could just be maybe some other event going on right there. I could see, massive of people, coming out in Plateau State under that Ojota. But let me come back to you in the studio, and then we'll probably look more into what is happening on the social media before the end of the program this morning. Once again, it is Starr Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, Mr. Archie.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi bringing you updates from Nigeria. But let's move on straight to that brain drain thing where they're talking about health experts who have left and they are talking about the best brains. But whether it's the best brains or not, people are not. Because if you are an expert, I'm an expert, and we are all together and we are serving the community, then we are able to serve the community. But if it's only if I go and you are better than me and you remain there, you are not able to actually see to the whole job that the two of us are supposed to do. It will be, to be wearing you down. So why are they giving that excuse that the best brains are not the ones who have left the country?
Well, you can only encourage those that are still behind so that they're not going as well. And that is the only way you can put it.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
You have to keep the rest that is still there because I'm sure they're probably still taking some of the exams until they find their way to Canada or Cuba or America if they can get to UK, as the UK continue to need more of these individuals to come and support, the dying NHS that is also going into crisis. And I was, like I said, I was looking at a tweet some few weeks ago, and the individual was saying that as more Africans are trying to come in, those that are here are also trying to get to Saudi Arabia and other countries that are paying more as a teacher and as a medical line as well.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We have a lot of people who are trying to get out. More coming, more going out. Okay, Sultan of Sokoto has declared prepared presidential candidate. This is information coming through. Let me just bring you that. We just talk about that briefly, then we'll go to the social media. The report that the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, endorsed a particular presidential candidate ahead of the poll has been debunked. Now, a statement from the Sultan media team described the claim as an irresponsible comment that cannot emanate from the Muslim leader. The Sultan also reiterated that he will not be allowed to be dragged into politics, but send a caution to those that spread fake news about him. Now, the question is, Who did they say the Sultan had endorsed?
Well, Sultan of Sokoto is a very powerful individual in Nigeria of today. The Sultan of Sokoto is the ruler of the Sokoto Caliphate, a Sunni Muslim community in Nigeria. The position may also be referred to as Sokoto Caliphate or the commander of the faithful Amir Mumini in Arabic or Lamido Jubril in Fulani. The current order, as we do know, and yes, you're quite right. These are individuals that will probably not get involved in politics, but I do know that, some few hours back before this update, Sultan was only telling Nigerians, the Sultan tells, if anybody says Sultan tells any Nigerian who to vote, definitely that is a complete lie. And that is exactly what the headline was saying. Alhaji Saad Abubakar told the Sultan of Sokoto and the President General of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, would never come up to tell anybody to vote, in public, maybe behind closed door. But we do know, like you said, that has actually been debunked. But it seems maybe the media probably picked up, what they wanted to say. The Sultan said the general election we're approaching, Nigerians need to use their vote wisely. Nigerians need to think and rethink of who they are casting their vote to. So who among these, is it Tinubu, is it Atiku, is it Peter Obi, or is it those that says maybe we should just review this union? But again, like you said, the press statement coming out has actually debunked Sultan of Sokoto endorsing anybody.
All right, then, let's start already. UK 11:45. So let's go to what's happening on the social media platform. And then, are there any events for the Yoruba Nation group over the weekend?
Well, as we speak right now, they are in Osun State in Ile-Ife, where there is an ongoing event, regarding this 90 days fasting that was put together by Yonkan. Yonkan is the Yoruba Christian association, and they've been fasting since October last year. And yes, there's a lot of feed coming out on our sister broadcast as we speak to you right now. Let's just get a bit of soundtrack coming from there, and this is actually, as we speak right now, going on in Osun State, Ile-Ife, where praise and worship is the grand final of the Yoruba Nation 90 Days Praise and Thanksgiving. Let's just listen for just a few minutes. Bear with me. Let's get a better feed from the other transmission, because we have live transmission going on there. Yeah, and listen. So right there, that is the ongoing event of the praise and worship, actually ongoing as we speak right now in Ile-Ife, with a lot of jubilation. And as the Yoruba will always say, they still believe that we must continue to do praise and worship, especially that the movement seems to be, as we do know, in kind of a movement like this, there will be a lot of infiltrators that will want to come in, destabilize and destroy the movement. But it seems that the Yorubas are still determined. That is going on there. So let's go back to Nigeria. We do know, as we speak right now, Imo State, Fulani terrorists, have continued to make destruction there as well. More videos of Peter Obi campaign going on as well. As we speak this morning, a lot of people. I mean, this woman is actually, praying, maybe asking God to save Nigeria. Is part of the video that right there. African Confidential. Let's see what it says. The United Nations, the African Union, the ECOWAS, and their cohort who couldn't condemn the open, lawless, and the human rights violations by the Nigerian government on its own citizens are now speaking up and calling for a peaceful election in Nigeria. This alone will make you rethink about Nigeria if you get sense. This is coming from Africa_Confidential some few hours ago on Twitter. Again, Nnamdi Kanu, the lawyer, I believe, was in visitation to him yesterday. Nnamdi Kanu continued to encourage his followers to be strong and determined. The military are saying that the election will hold regardless of whatever the miscreant are saying. I saw the video of that. Also, as I speak to you right now, police take delivery of new operational vehicle to tackle electoral violence in February 2023 election and for the general policing. The question a lot of people are saying is that hope they could have done this more to protect all the highways, especially Lagos to Ibadan Expressway. More kidnappings have taken place in the past. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. As we're going into the weekend, Omo Yoruba, dear Yoruba youth, we know the Nigerian identity is an addiction problem. We were there before. Can you at least shout for a regional autonomy if that makes sense to you? Nigeria is not United States. So that is coming from Omo Odua on Twitter. Also, a story we have not forgotten in 2018. Joe Blackerson swam 13 times to rescue 13 people out of 25 people involved in a boat accident in Rivers State, Nigeria. He died when he was trying to do the 14th time to rescue somebody else. He's an hero, is the message. Again, article, I'm not sure which part of Nigeria is currently, which of the part of the state, but I can see article with Akoa and the rest of their team have probably just arrived for probably their campaign as it goes on. Oh, no, I think this was yesterday in Ibadan. I could see somebody I recognized there. So definitely this is Ibadan, when Atiku actually paid a courtesy visit, to one of the Yorubas, elders there as well. Yesterday, we also have, and I think we should just quickly listen to that before I go, which is very, very important. That is a journalist was asking, the press secretary to Joe Biden during an engagement about the killings of the Christian. Let's listen to what she has to say in response.
I'd like to turn your attention to Nigeria. Just a few days ago, an absolutely horrific story. A Catholic priest in his rectory early Sunday morning was literally burned to death. Bandits burned the rectory. And today, as a matter of fact, Pope Francis asked the world to pray for Father Isaac Archie. Question one, two questions here. One, will the Biden administration forcefully condemn acts of violence against Christians in Nigeria?
So let me just say we are saddened by the senseless killing. We have seen the reports and certainly are saddened by that. We are monitoring the situation as information develops. And so we hope the Nigerian authorities will quickly bring the perpetrators to justice. And of course, we condemn violence of any kind. And so that is something that you've heard me say many times from this podium, and that is something that we will continue to condemn.
Follow up on that. How many more Nigerian priests have to be so brutally murdered before Nigeria is placed back on the countries of particular concern list, the State Department's list?
Mm-hmm. That is something I would refer you to the State Department about, that particular list.
Well, that is the response from the press secretary coming out of the Washington. It seems now that Nigeria continues to be in the limelight, as you heard there, the church Catholic was burned to death into ashes, and Nigeria has been removed by Joe Biden, under the what the journalist was actually asking. So this is how far we can go on the Friday edition, but the weekend, stay tuned to Starr Radio UK with so much activities. I'll be back again on Monday morning, where we continue, the countdown to whether an election will hold, or due to the uncertainty, an election might be postponed, or a lot of reason to still believe that there's still imminent to an interim government being planned, or a coup that might just prop up. But all this, you will find out first on Starr Radio UK. But for now, I will hand over back again to you, to Archie, to take you through the rest of the segment. But for me, I'll be back again same time next week.
Okay, Yomi, let me say thank you very, very much for this wonderful update as well.
Bye for now.
Right. Okay, but before I go on, I'm going to bring you some nice tunes. Let me acknowledge Akinton. He's saying, he said, Mr. Archie and Mr. Archie, good work you're doing with White Lion, the life wire of Yoruba Nation's brother. I wish you all prosperous weekend, and we wish you a prosperous weekend as well. But let me bring you this up from Jeanette. Yes, today I'm lining out, so those of you who want to watch the video of it, yes, this will pop out in the next few moments, and you should enjoy that as well. So coming away from Starr Radio UK, enjoy. I said I will let Yomi translate that for me in the next few moments, but stay tuned.
All right, thank you so much. As I'm going to be wrapping up now. Hey. Èmi yóò tó lóko fáráyé. Ìwọ ńkọ́? Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Tó máa polongo ẹ̀. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Èmi fòmìnira orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Èmi ò tó lóko fáráyé. Èmi ò sọ nípa orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ohun tí mo fẹ́ ni mo fẹ́. Lórí Starr Radio. Gbogbo tó ní jẹ́ kó ṣe ní Nàìjíríà lélẹ̀ yìí.
Okay, so today I managed to bring you the video of it. Yeah, I love that song, but you know I've not got the translation, so that I know Yomi will just try and translate it to me next Monday before we come in. Yeah. But I like singing it. But you know, when you sing a song, you like the tune, you like how it goes, but you don't really understand it. But when I know the
this is why we say the advantage of what we do outside, it goes a long way. Thank you so much, everybody. We're gonna have to go now, but I will come back not too long. We just restart our own system so that we can allow the one that we're streaming from now to end. Okay, we're going to Instagram. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a very great morning. Bye for now. So one part about Nisim, I call set up, and then we can start our program early because we lost a bit of time yesterday. So good morning, everybody. Miami, Aziz, Ruth, I can see all your comments on my big screen of TV. Maze Gold, Esther, Goldman, David, Abdulatif, and everybody. Let's end this one so that we have a separate program. Apart from this. Bye for now.